Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do a little mixing trick using FabFilter Pro-Q, and I think the best way to describe this is going to be something like a frequency specific dynamic compression EQing kind of a thing. But yeah, I think it's going to make more sense when we actually see it visually, so let's just dive in and have a look. Okay, here we are in Cubase, and before I get started, I just want to mention that I think this is a pretty common procedure or trick that is, applied by a lot of music producers out there. But I haven't seen a lot of, Psytrance producers sharing this knowledge, so I thought I could just share it and like beat the others to it, maybe on YouTube. But yeah, pretty much it's gonna be really simple. So basically, we have two sounds that are playing, within the same grid or within like in the same at the same time. But there are certain frequencies of these sounds that kind of clash with each other. So I'm just gonna play these two sounds, and just so you can see what they are. Pretty much what we're going to do is that we want to dock out certain frequencies from this form and lead sound, just so when we have this FM step sound, it kind of, rips through the mix in a more efficient way, in a way that, we hear it more prominent whenever it plays. And then whenever it's not playing, it's leaving, the precedence to the form and lead sound. And as I already mentioned, we're going to use a Pro-Q for this, so let's just pop it right here. Okay, so here we are in Pro-Q3, and I already mentioned that this is going to be something like a dynamic compression EQ kind of a thing. So if you're in Pro-Q3 and you want to do anything dynamic, you kind of see the slider over here. It's like it's on top of the big knob, and you can either compress that specific frequency, or you can expand that specific frequency. So if you wanted to do some compression here, and let's say you wanted to adjust it, whatever, let's just hear it. But then it gets triggered by our other sound, our other sound, which is the FM step right here. So for that reason, we need to do some side chaining. So side chaining is different on different DAWs. So on Cubase, you have this like little thing over here, and if you hover over it, it says activate side chain. So if you just go ahead and activate it, so basically we're gonna send this other sound to this activated side chain channel. And let me just close this for a second. And to actually activate our trigger, we'll just send it over here. So if I go over here and look at my side chains, you could see that form and lead sound is actually activated over here. So let's just send it and then turn it on. So now we have to go back to our Pro-Q on the form and lead sound. And on Pro-Q3, this is just something we have to do right here. So if you go here, and not only you have to activate the side chain on the plugin itself, but you need to activate the side chain on the filter node itself as well. So let's say you have this node here, you can have other stuff that's happening here, but the one that we want to affect on the sound is actually somewhere right here. So let's just activate the side chain right here. And now it is actually activated to get affected by this FM step 2 sound. And watch what happens when I play them together. So if I actually play them together, you're gonna see kind of like a visual representation of where these sounds are clashing, and it's gonna be like a red highlight on this Pro-Q3 here. So yeah, just look at this red highlighted area over here. So you can see it's highlighting, and the biggest area that's getting affected is somewhere right here. And I don't want to affect my actual level, but rather I want to affect how much it gets docked down. So you can take this all the way down. I leave it somewhere about like 5, 6. So of course, if your threshold is higher, it's not going to get affected as much. This is something you just have to hear, you know, with your ears, like use your ears, and then see how much you want to compress this portion of the sound in this specific frequency. So one thing that's actually pretty cool about FabFilter Pro-Q is that you can have different nodes like on the same plugin, and those ones don't need to specifically get triggered by the other sound. So let's say you just want to dock down the specific frequency related to this other sound, but you want to also like do a low cut to the form and lead itself. You can just do that. Like this one, let me just delete this one here. So this low cut node doesn't actually get affected by the sidechain at all. You can see like we don't have anything over here actually, or if you do a different bell or whatever, you can see that it's not getting affected. And you can do this like you can do a different, you know, expansion or compression, however you want to do it. But unless you actually activate it from here on these nodes, they won't get affected by this other sound when they're doing their job. So it's pretty flexible with FabFilter Pro-Q in that sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I just want to clean this up, and then we do like an A/B hearing, and then we can wrap this video up. Okay, here we are in FabFilter. I just did a little cleanup, and let's just hear how they sound together with the sidechaining dynamic compression EQ applied. So if you couldn't hear exactly what was going on, I'm just gonna do like an extreme example right here. So maybe that's gonna give you a better idea of what's happening. Yeah, if you don't have your studio headphones or like you're in a studio environment, it's kind of hard to hear. But just bear with me here and watch this like extreme example. So yeah, hopefully that gave you a better idea. That was an expansion example, but of course, you can, you know, decrease it however you like in FabFilter. So we're just doing something like this, and I generally leave the threshold somewhere about like 20, -20, -18 maybe. Yeah, it's a subtle effect, but at the end of the day, when you complete your mix, all these like little details kind of add up, and they actually, you know, enable you to have a cleaner mix. So, you know, and also that affects your master as well. So it's just like a kind of nitty-gritty kind of a thing, but it definitely enhances your mix, you know, in the long run. So let's just hear it with the kick and bass. So yeah, maybe the last thing I wanted to mention is that, as I said, you know, your other nodes within FabFilter doesn't have to be affected by the sidechaining, but you could do something of a vice versa as well. So you could do, hey, maybe you want to affect something here too. You want to do like a little compression right there as well. So you can go ahead and do this sidechain compression EQ kind of a thing. Again, it's like right above your big knob over here, and then you just activate the side chain over here. So then they're gonna act together depending on how this other sound, this FM stab sound, is you know, ripping through the frequency spectrum of this formant lead sound. So let's just hear these two together, and this is just like a extreme example in this case. Alright guys, and one last thing I just want to do, I just want to play these two with kick and bass together. Alright guys, that's about it for this week. I know it was a shorter kind of a video, but I'm just trying to, create content as much as I could. I hope you liked the video. Please let me know what you think of it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.